Hello, my name is Steven. I'm a software developer for specialty technical publishers, and welcome to my presentation on how to use Xcelerator 2.0. To begin, Xcelerator 2.0 will require Microsoft Excel 2010 or better, or other software that supports Excel files. Upon opening your Xcelerator file, you will arrive to a table of contents page with a list of bookmarks where each bookmark will lead you to a specific page on this document. Facility Setup. This page is for general administration that's needed to be done before conducting an audit, and this page is pretty much self-explanatory. Now, to return to the table of contents, just click on the far right, like so, and it will set you back to the table of contents. Intuitively, the results dashboard page is the next page that most people would just naturally turn to. However, this document is structured for upper management who are more interested in results than the actual details. So as an auditor, you're supposed to click on the fourth item, which is the actual score sheet itself. From the title of this page, there are three parts. This is the publication reference, module name, and rulebook name. Now, I would like to point out that applicable regulations is not a real module name. That is because this is a customized Xcelerator file. With a customized Xcelerator file, you can combine multiple rulebooks from one publication with a number of rulebooks from a number of publications. When you scroll down, you'll see a number of tables here. Each of these tables is a rulebook section. Now, I would like you to focus on this cell here. One does not refer to this table as being the first table on this page. It actually refers to the first rulebook section called General Requirements for All Facilities within the Drinking Water Rulebook. Now, these cells all contain regulations for this rulebook section. Now, the regulations in the white color cells are federal regulations, while the regulations in the gold color cell are state differences. You may notice that there are some red triangles on the top right corner of these cells. And these triangles actually refers to additional information that you can reference. Now, when you hover over the federal cells, the guide notes that accompany the federal regulation will be displayed in a pop-up window. However, the state differences do not have guide notes. They have additional information in terms of how to work with these state differences. From this pop-up window, SDA 128 is the publication name for where the state difference came from. And as you can see, it's for the state of New York, Federal Reference 1.2, and what that means is that these state differences apply to this federal regulation. Alright? Now you're wondering, Steven, what's going on? Your site's in Vancouver. The state difference is for New York. What can I say? I'm from Vancouver, and I hope to see New York someday. As we scroll down to the next table, these state differences, they both have the federal reference S2. What this means is that both of these state differences apply to all the federal regulations that are in the second rulebook section. On the next table, you'll notice that it says 5 instead of 3. What happened to rulebook section 3 and 4? Well, these rulebook sections were omitted because they were not applicable to this customized Xcelerator file, and this is something you will learn more of when you start using the applicability tool that we have on our website. In the status column for all these tables, there are light blue color cells for you to enter your findings. Now, when you click on Make a Selection, there's 3 rating values. These are default rating values that you can use. With Xcelerator 2.0, you can have up to 10 possible rating values. As you can see here, each of these rating values have a numeric value associated to it, and these numeric values will be used in a charting page that you'll see later on. In this cell, it has a value that's -1, which is less than the maximum possible value it can obtain. And therefore, the adjacent cell in the observation column is highlighted blue for you to enter your justification as to why you've given this rating for this regulation. I'm just going to enter no permit. That is my justification as to why this regulation does not comply. Now, to add more options to this drop-down list when conducting your audit, we'll have to change the audit rating table. To do that, we will need to navigate back to the table contents. So we'll just click on the far right and then click on scoring settings. From this table, we can enter new options for our rating, and I'm just going to pause the video to enter some values, and I'll continue as soon as I'm done. Hello, we're back. Now, the option in A is an option that's needed for most audit. Therefore, this option is made permanent and you cannot modify its value. Now, on this table, I've added two new options, complies 75% and complies 50%. To simulate the percentage effect, I've changed the value of complies to 100, and then I can add 75 for complies 75% and 50 to complies 50%. To simulate 0 out of 100, I had to add the negative value 100 for does not comply. Now we're going to jump back to the score sheet, and to do so we're going to click on the far right. Next, click on the bookmark to the score sheet, and as you can see, complies now have the value 100 instead of 1, and does not comply have the value negative 100 versus negative 1. And when you click on the cell, the drop-down list will show the two options that I've added earlier, complies 75% and complies 50%. Let's say you wanted to include part of the guide notes from this regulation into your observations. To do so, just click on the cell and it'll take you to the guide notes page. If you look closely, this is the cell that contains the guide note to the federal regulation that I just clicked on. I'm going to copy that by pressing Ctrl C. Now I'm going to return to the score sheet by clicking in the cell under the score sheet column. Next, I'm going to click on the cell in the observation column to paste my guide note into it, and I'm going to paste it by pressing Ctrl V. Now I can edit by going to the formula bar of Excel and start editing the text from there. Now, after completing your inspection, you would enter your recommendations into your report. However, these cells under the recommendations column cannot be modified. They will display the recommendations that you make from the corrective action sheet. And we will navigate to the corrective action sheet by clicking on the far right. And now we're going to click on the corrective action sheet, which is the third item on this table contents. From the corrective actions page, columns A, B, and C, they have bookmarks that will allow you to navigate back to the original score sheet where these regulations originated from. In some Xcelerator files, they'll have multiple score sheets where if you need to make a change, these bookmarks will definitely be an asset to help you make those changes easily. Now, in column D, again, these cells contains federal regulations and state differences. If you click on the federal regulation with guide notes, you'll be sent to the guide notes page, and from here you can copy the guide note and navigate back to the corrective actions page, then paste it in the recommendations when you're writing your recommendations in terms of how to bring a site into compliance with the regulation that it failed to meet. I'm just going to zoom out so that you can have a better view of this page. As you can see, these cells are highlighted in light blue, and that's because the site is not in 100% compliance with these regulations. In column E, you can rank the priority in terms of what needs to be fixed so that the site is in compliance with these regulations. If these ranking values look familiar, that's because we've already seen them. Now, if you want to alter them into something more meaningful, just click on the far right so that we can return to the table contents. Then we're going to click on the scoring settings so that we can change these values. Now, we can change the ranking terms on this table. I'm just going to use 1 through 10. Now we're going to return to the corrective action sheet. And As you may have noticed, these values do not update. In order to resolve this issue, and I hope you will learn from this demonstration that you can just reselect something that's more meaningful for your audit. From the table header, there's a filter for each column. These filters are used for sorting through large amounts of data on a large table. For this demonstration, I have already pre-populated information on the score sheet so that we can have a larger sample size. Now I want to focus my attention on all the state differences that has a 50% compliance. To do so, I'm going to click on the filter in the numbers column and unselect all these checkboxes. Now I'm going to select all the state differences by clicking on all the checkboxes that start with NY for New York. Next, I'm going to select the filter in the status column, unselect all those checkboxes, and select the complies 50%. There you go. Finally, I'm going to show you the results dashboard page. On this page, this is where we have all the charts that I mentioned earlier. So to navigate to the results dashboard page, I'm going to click on the far right to return to the table of contents. Now I'm going to click on the results dashboard page. From this horizontal bar chart, we know that we are at 65.83% compliance with all the rules and regulations of this audit. Each of these bars represent a single rulebook, and because this accelerator file only has one rulebook, there's only one bar. In Xcelerator 2.0, we've taken the results of each rulebook section and we've charted them by rulebook. As you can see, drinking water has only 6 rulebook sections. Under each chart there's a text box for a short summary. This concludes my presentation with Xcelerator 2.0. I look forward to any feedback that you may have. My name is Stephen Lee and thank you for watching.